Hey, everybody. Russ W. Oker, Go Hills TV, powered by JBS. This is Food. I'm with Coach Jon Hussak. Our post-match interview. We get the Hy-Vee Warrior win today. Advancement win, anyway. I'm not sure how they credit that for sure, but in overtime, you get the golden goal from Arnica Louis. Coach, we talked before the match, and even though this team is 3-8-1, you knew that Coach Ballet was going to have his team ready to go. They had a great game plan, and they executed.
Yeah, I told him after the game, I was like, man, you coached your way through that. And, I mean, he played 11 players. He had to rest one because of a head injury briefly. But outside of that, I mean, he had 11 girls bought into a system. And he coached his way through it. And it was frustrating. It was hard. It was tough. It was, it was every range of negative emotion you could feel. And they made it really difficult for our players. And, like we talked about pregame, they're going to be organized. They're coached well. They're tenacious. They play hard. Goals saved on the goal line, these types of things. They were ready to die to stop a goal. And for him to be able to draw that out of his players, I mean, that's credit to them and credit to that crew. And they played a hell of a game, and it took us it took us extra time to get there. They bent, and they never broke until, the end. It's just chaos around the goal, and Arnica found the ball and buried it.
So throughout the match, we had a hard time really getting. We lived on their half of the field, but a hard time really getting any real attacks in the box. A few. What were they doing that made it so difficult to penetrate?
They were just they would direct the play into the channels. They'd sit off their back line, whether it was, sometimes it was 5, sometimes it was 4. Their back line would sit at the penalty area, and then as soon as we would get behind on the channel, they would all drop in, and we couldn't even find crosses back. So, you have to kind of deliver ball from different spaces, and we've been trying to, explore that throughout the game. But, Mia's shot came from the corner of the 18 where their players hadn't dropped fully yet to give us the box. So as that ball came out on a rebound, their players are tracking to defend, and our players are stepping to attack. So it was just it's almost like, offensive rebound in basketball. You kind of pick it up and you put it back.
That's what Arnica did, and got the shot in, and you go into overtime, and of course things get real nerve-wracking there, right? Obviously, we're favored to win. They're 3-8-1. We're 12-3, ranked number 10. But the longer this thing goes, the more the danger presents itself. What was the message right before overtime? In the 5 minutes you had to meet with the young ladies.
Take care of the ball, and go at them. I mean, our players don't do well when we ask them to be calm and sit back. So we just kept the mentality aggressive, and we just told them, take care of the ball, be a little more sure in your passes. And honestly, I told them, I said, if they're countering, you take the red card, like at that point, because it's do or die. So, we were fully committed to give a player in the case of, they counterattack us well, and we have to stop the ball somewhere. So, we live on the edge. I coach my players live on the edge. I live on the edge when I coach, and that's just the type of team we are, and we just go at teams regardless of what it is. And sometimes it's on the good side, sometimes it's not on the good side, but that's just kind of the risk when you play that type of soccer.
Well, obviously they didn't. Their plan was a defensive plan. We weren't really under attack. They had maybe 1 or 2 small opportunities, but for the most part, the game was played on their end of the field and possessed by the Warriors, so not a whole lot of pressure put on Annabelle in this one. But you would expect now as we move forward that's going to change. You got Lewis and Clark now, the number 1 seed out of Region 24. We've seen them. We won that match. What did you see from them, and what do you expect to see on Sunday?
I expect them to be adjusted. I expect them to have a game plan. I mean, we're coming up against another great coach, so they're going to be hungry. They want payback, and we're on their home turf, so it's going to be a battle again. It's anybody's region tournament that we've got here. I mean, you've got, number 8 and number 10 matchup in the semifinal, and then on the other side, you've got number 6 sitting there who's going to play the winner of this next game here. So, It's a tough region and district to get out of, and I expect Lewis and Clark to come full on at us, confident. They haven't lost since they played us, so their last loss was us September 11th or 12th or whatever it was. So they're going to be hungry, and it's a completely different style of team that we're going to see. So we have to pivot, we have to shift our focus, and we have to really dial in on what Lewis and Clark does now.
Well, you feel like we have a team that's good enough to win our way to the national tournament on a automatic. There's probably 2 or 3 teams in the way that are also good enough to do that. If that doesn't happen, then you hope for an at-large. Inevitably, every advancement you make puts you one step closer to being in position for making a case for that as well, right?
Correct. And I mean, depending on how they score this game, whether it's in favor or not for us in terms of a tie. I mean, really it all boils down to, can we get to next weekend and then the weekend after? And I mean, you're always playing, you just want the AQ, and it just simplifies things. You always want that auto qualifier. So that eliminates decisions based on what people feel and people think. So that's kind of our game plan, is let's just go and be playing at home on December 9th against the team from Tennessee.
All right, survive and move on. That's the way to do it right there. That's what the Warriors do today. We get the golden goal from Arnica Louis with 8:19 to go in the first overtime. The Warriors win and move on. Sunday at noon, we'll take on the host school, Lewis and Clark, right here in Godfrey, Illinois, from Glazebrook Sports Complex. Coach, thanks for your time. Get the Hy-Vee Warrior win today and move on here in postseason play. For the entire crew, I'm Russ W. Oker, Go Hills TV, powered by JBS.